Well, speaking as a Canuck, it's supposed the madness of the many have elected animals as leaders. The Madness of Many by Animals as Leaders. So Animals as Leaders is one of the forefront kind of main stagers of the Djent movement that have been coming through. That technical metal that's using a lot of those really deep and guttural sounds that Meshuggah and Tesseract and Periphery and all those like really heavy hitting bands have mastered. The thing that sets Animals as Leaders apart is that they are a purely instrumental piece. So there's no lyrics, there's no singing, it's just the music that's carrying these guys forward. They are probably the most complex of any of the Djent movements that I have heard to date. All of their past albums have almost touched their foot into like a jazz fusion kind of a style within their playing, because they're never sitting still and they're never really having that concrete area, so it's always fluid. And I love these guys. I love how they are able to just create the different sounds that they have. So I was really looking forward to the Madness of Many, and I was not disappointed right from their first track of the arithmophobia being a fear of complex numbers. I love that concept because really, this is almost like a math metal because it's very complex and it's always moving. Whenever I'm listening to an Animals as Leaders song, this is usually what's going through my head. So it's ironic that the album starts off with a concept of the fear of numbers, because this thing is just so mathematically just fun to play with. Each song kind of has that. Each song has that really interesting sounds and really interesting time signatures and playing styles. And what I really like about Animals as Leaders is they have that complex formula right up front. But really the thing that I love most is those subtle sounds and those subtle things that are in the background. And I think this is what's setting the Madness of Many apart from some of their past works, is just how much more is going on in their songs kind of behind the scenes. Sometimes it's so quiet you don't even notice it. There's one point within Ectogenesis, and I love how they use sounds in this song, especially right at the beginning. I love that it's almost like a cave of like a Super Nintendo or something like that, just the way that it's starting off. But it's in the middle part where it's just this blast of sound, and it's very, very deep, and it's very, very low on the scale. But there's something right at like the I don't know, off the scales, or there's something just like really beyond the reach of what's going on in the music, and I love that. It was such a great kind of yes. And the same thing can be found near the end of the Cognitive Contortions, the third track. Near the end, once we get into that really guttural piece there's some kind of fluidity within some of the sounds that are being produced. And I don't know if it's being produced on a guitar or if it's being produced through synthesizers or like different soundscapes that's going on there, but something is going on that is just really, really meaty. And so each song has been really meticulously thought over, and each thing has been placed perfectly into its spot. The balance between just the technical playing on the guitars with that guttural sound of Djent, it's just so well constructed. There are a few points on this album, and this isn't necessarily a knock. It is just something that I keep coming back to, probably near the end of this album on the Glass Bridge. This is the 8th track on the album. There's a point where it almost sounds like a Liquid Tension experiment, you know, a very John Petrucci type of a playing style. Again, it's not a knock on it. It just kind of brought me out a little bit, where I was thinking, you know, this isn't sounding too much like an Animals as Leaders sound. This is more of like a John Petrucci sound. Again, it's not a knock. It's just something that I was aware of. And even though this album is like crazy in-your-face metal for most of it, like it's tech extreme metal, I like how the album does kind of take some soft moments as well within the Brain Dance, that 9th song on this album. I like how it starts off with more of like an acoustic guitar, and it's almost like a Spanish guitar as well. And the Spanish guitar is actually felt within the last song of the Arpriophobia, which is the fear of eternity. And so I like how the album is bookend between two phobic movements, kind of being that madness, right? Because it's bookend with that fear of the eternity, a lot of these have that cyclical movements, and that is something that is found within Djent a lot, is the cyclical aspect of it, the eternal cycle kind of thing. So I like how that concept was really brought within a musical scope within this, and of course that Spanish guitar does feel front and center within that as well. So overall, I had a great time with Animals as Leaders' latest album, The Madness of Many. And it's something that I've been listening to quite a bit lately. If you're not a fan of this type of music, this is something that might be a little bit overwhelming. And it is one for me that I do have to listen to in strides. Like, it's something that I can't listen to on repeat for a very long time. It is something that I have to kind of come into, enjoy while I'm in the moment, but then kind of move on from there. But that being said, this was a fantastic time from start to finish. I definitely have to say, if you can find it in physical form, definitely pick it up, because this one is needed in your collection, especially for that style of music. So that's about it. What did you guys think of the latest release from Animals as Leaders, The Madness of Many? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought, let me know by commenting below. And thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.